Welcome to The Juice, where we're talking about getting more of what we want and less of what we don't. Hi, I'm Jory Desjardins of BlogHer, and with me today is Terry Tate, a nationally known speaker, a registered nurse who's been in the industry for 35 years.
Possibly even longer. Frightening.
And also you have a show that you host.
Well, actually, it's a solo show that I created based on the story of my cancer and divorce and other of life's little surprises.
So this is a perfect opportunity for us to talk about healing with humor.
It is indeed.
Before we get started, let's take a look at what inspired this episode with this week's Trop 50 Spotlight.
Hi, my name is Super Duper Fresh, and I write a blog at freshwidow.blogspot.com for young widows. And young widows are pretty good at using humor to cope with difficult situations. We often say things like, well, I pulled a widow card so that I could leave work early. And I pulled a widow card so that my kid could get into the fancy private school when there wasn't a spot. So I decided to actually make cards, and I can provoke people whenever I want. And I hand them out at parties. And this one says, "Pardon me for bringing up Mr. Death. I'm a widow." And then on the back, "You've been carded the widow card." So, and it's really, it can defuse a lot of difficult situations.
So Terry, you have a truly inspirational story and a reason to believe that there is a healing power behind humor.
I do indeed. I was diagnosed with oral cancer. There was a tumor the size of a golf ball where my tongue had been, and that surgery wasn't quite so subtle. It took 24 hours and cost me most of my lower jaw and a host of body parts down the left side of my body. I was told that I had about a 2% chance of surviving.
2%?
Mm-hmm. Not great odds.
And you overcame that in no large part because of how you looked at this and your perspective.
And in addition to all the medical treatment, I really believe that humor and being surrounded by people who also have a sense of humor had a big role in my survival.
So what do you tell people who have had similar news to that?
Well, first of all, it's not that I'm saying, you get a terminal diagnosis and you should be yucking it up. What I recommend is that you allow yourself the full range of emotions. It's not about being happy or being sad, it's allowing all of it. Humor lives in being human. It is intrinsically funny to be a human being. God has a great sense of humor.
So not everyone will get a cancer diagnosis, but there's a lot of forms of bad news.
Absolutely.
A lot of people are losing their jobs these days. There are people who are going through divorce, something that you're experienced with. What do you tell them?
Look for the humor in the moment, whatever it is. For example, I had trouble eating after the surgery, and the first time we ordered in food, I took the soup, and because of the surgery, it started coming out my nose. And we talked about being the soup-breathing dragon. So you can find those moments anywhere. And humor is really shifting your point of view. It's looking at things from a slightly different window. And we can do that anytime.
What about laughter? I know that laughter elevates my mood, but I could go days without having a really good laugh. How do I get more of it in my day?
Really look honestly at your life. When was the last time I had a great laugh? Is there a lot of laughter in my house? Do I hang out with funny people? How important is it to me? And then to make sure that you surround yourself with comedy, humor, funny tapes, going to comedy clubs.
There's a blogger who writes about this. Carol Fogarty of the Healthy Living Lounge writes, "Change your screensaver to put something that brings a smile to your face. Put something funny beside your bed so it's the first thing you see in the morning. Draw smiley faces on Post-it notes and stick them in your home and your office, and laugh or even smile every time you see one."
Or wear funny shoes. I mean, how can you have shoes like this, look down at them and not laugh? Red shoes help.
Red shoes.
Surround yourself with little stuff.
Some of the funniest people in my world are kids, my niece and my nephew.
Well, the best reason that I have for surviving, if it were up to me, if I had any role in sticking around, it was because I wanted to become a grandmother. And I am now, and Georgie is the light of my life. And I can be with her. I mean, I recommend being a grandmother, but not everyone can do that, because you can be with the kid in a real way where I wasn't available with my own kids. So take a half hour and pretend you're a grandmother or a grandfather and really be present with that kid. Or find a kid in yourself and fly a kite, blow bubbles, get a balloon, get silly putty, and listen to what kids say.
So you had said laugh for no good reason. It's like a muscle. Tell me more about that.
Laughter, even if you don't mean it at first, conjures all kinds of wonderful results in our body, mind, spirit. So it's sort of a fake it till you make it kind of arrangement. You can listen to a laugh track of baby laughter and start being phony. And you know, if you're in an audience and somebody else is really laughing, it's contagious. It's every bit as contagious as negativity. So pretend you think something's funny. Remember a time when you couldn't stop laughing, probably in church. And then you can take it from there, and it builds, and then it becomes spontaneous. And before you know it, you really do find things funny.
So even if people think you're crazy.
Totally. Yeah,
even more so.
People have always thought I was crazy. You get used to it.
Terry, thank you so much. Thanks for the laugh.
Thank you.
It's been great having you on.
It's been great to be here.
And thanks to Trop 50 from Tropicana for making the juice possible. We want to share your advice and tips, especially if you record a video tip or you have a blog that we can feature. Join us at blogher.com/thejuice. You'll also find ways to win cool prizes, get in touch with myself and some of the cool people featured here. We'll see you.